Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today I'm playing Legacy, and this is a list from Delthar, who is one of the innovators of Blue Cloud Post around Eternal Weekend time last year. And the meta for that deck came, it went, it was gone for a long time, but it may be back for a variety of reasons. 1. Candelabra's banned, which means there's not a just better Tron deck you could play. 2. Fantasticar is banned. You're not going to just get run over by these hyper fast decks. 3. The Hobbit came out. And everyone's talking about Bilbo, but I'm talking about Giants Boulder. Much like Bilbo is shaped like Dreadhorde Arcanist, we can recognize patterns in Bilbo Thief of the Night and compare it to a banned card. We can also do that easily with Giants Boulder. A 1-mana artifact that has a enters the battlefield ability that keeps the game moving. It filters 1 generic mana into a mana of any color. That's shaped like Arkham's Astrolabe. What we're balancing here is how much worse than draw a card is Scry 2. It is worse, but by how much? And then there's this bonus line of text, 7 tap, sack this, destroy target permanent. That is probably flavor text that occasionally kicks in if you play Giants Boulder in a Snoko style deck that Arkham's Astrolabe would have been in 5 years ago, 6 years ago, whenever that was. But if you're playing this in a big mana deck, that 7 mana destroy target permanent is not flavor text. It's very much part of the range. I queued into Delthar playing this deck the other day. I was playing a Bilbo deck, I think, if I have my leagues remembered correctly. And I was really impressed by Giants Boulder, and I wanted to get this immediately on the channel as soon as I could. I know this is a deck that excited a lot of people last year when it was coming up. Some of my friends decided to register it for Eternal Weekend. And Oops All Spells has also taken a nerf since then. That was one of the tougher matchups for this thing. This is a ramp deck. Last year it was Cloud Post, but in the year in between, the technology has also developed. The Planar Nexus Tron mana base has really been figured out as probably just good enough on its own without doing any other tricks. Petrified Hamlet was printed. If you don't have to think about Wasteland, that removes the most common counterplay that this deck needs to worry about from just the entire format. And if the metagame goes to a spot where it's Felias and Bilbos and Beanstalks bouncing off each other in this mid-range control jockeying war, a Tron ramp deck might just kick this metagame wide open. It's a very cool choice. Features a new card, features a lot of things that have moved since this time last year that have positioned this back to a cool spot. It has the One Ring, which remains on my list of most bannable legacy cards that is not banned yet. And if you think cards should be banned, you should probably put them in your deck. That's a reasonable way to make deck selection. A lot of good stuff going on here. Let's do it. This is Dimir Tron from Delthar. I'm on the play in round 1, and I have big mana. I can filter into blue if I need to. And Eldrazi Confluence is not exactly the thrilling payoff I hope for, but it does work. And I'll lead on a tower because I've blessed with 2 of them. Ancient Tomb. Okay. Let's see what flavor this is. Ancient Tomb decks generally don't have Wasteland, though, so I might just want to run out the Planar Nexus. Hopefully I draw a Stock Up or a One Ring or something that really just goes nuts here. Force of Will. Well, Eldrazi Confluence can flip a creature inside out, make spawns, or flicker non-land permanents. None of that draws a card. It's not Kozilek's Command. Why would it be that one? But I do have some play here. Opponent's probably pretty stoked that I didn't do anything with my 4 mana, but also pretty suspicious. Okay, am I going to get out One Ringed? I'm going to get Karned. Okay. Confluence is cool. These are Eldrazi Scions, not Eldrazi Spawns. I can make 3 1/1s and just attack Karn. Like, if they minus and don't present something that jacks me up, I'm in business. Liquid Metal Coating. Okay, if this is the mirror and I get forced back, that's not going to be great. Take 3 1/1 Scions. We're in business. Taste it, Karn. It's kind of like casting Watchwolf in its own stupid way. I attack Karn. I tap 2 lands and put 3 power into play. That's Watchwolf. I just don't think my opponent's going to Wasteland me. which makes me not that interested in p-hamming. Like if they play an Urza Saga, I have a turn to lock it down before it makes constructs. I'll just keep developing as much mana as I can. I didn't find a second blue anywhere to hardcast Force of Will. Cavern of Souls. Okay, some information. Naming Lurgoyf. Oh, baby. We've got main deck Barrowgoyfs out here. It's a little bit disturbing. +3/-3 does kill that Barrowgoyf right now, though. And casting an instant in response won't save it. Just trying to think what could go wrong here. Like, do they have a land they're going to cycle? Like, I have this Confluence, and I could give Barrowgoyf +6/-6, make sure it's dead no matter what. Or I could think about what could go wrong here and get an extra spawn out of the deal. Yeah, I think I'm just going to +3/-3 the Goyf and hope I don't get cooked. Something is happening. Ah, Kindred. I should have thought of that. That is one that could happen. Yep, that was me being greedy. I did not think about Kindred. All right, let me just draw a good card, and it doesn't matter. Okay, that's pretty good. Blue, Thundertrap Trainer, Con Queso, Big Digs, lots of blockers. My own Karn, a Stock Up, a Giant's Boulder. I have 4 mana plus a land drop here, so currently 6 mana. I think Karn will outmuscle Barrowgoyf pretty well. Kozilek's Command. That also handles Barrowgoyf pretty well. I have this Invasion Submersible, which is a cool card. It is both a temporary answer to Barrowgoyf and a blue card for Force. Just sweet tech there all around. I think I'm gonna go after the Goyf. Exile and Scryax. If I can find a blue card here, I'll feel very good. Okay, I didn't find a blue card, even though this Ugin is blue in color. This treatment of Ugin does appear to be a blue card at first. I'll have enough mana to win with Karn, no matter what next turn. I'm going to go bottom, bottom. And does Ugin actually matter? All right, I am going to take the Ugin. That's just one of the most powerful cards I have. And opponent would have to thread the needle pretty hard here. Okay, they just didn't have it. To the sideboard. Okay, so it's a colorless ramp mirror where they have Barrowgoyfs in their main. I have Barrowgoyfs in my side. I don't know that I necessarily want to engage them in Barrowgoyf combat if I have counterspells in my deck and they don't. I have Confluence and Commands and Ugins that can answer Barrowgoyfs. I have Trainers, Spawns, and Scions that can block Barrowgoyfs. I think I just want the Consigned to Memories here. And I could see Force of Negation being a side grade. They do kind of the same thing, but Consigned covers more bases and is easier to cast and doesn't cost me 2 cards. But I also can't tap out into it. They get turn 1 to do what they're going to do. It's a lateral move on blue count. And maybe I just don't actually like the Confluence, even though it is one of my answers to Barrowgoyf. Yeah, I think this is fine. I'm mostly trying to ramp here. I think trying to Barrowgoyf them is a mistake. It's losing strategic vision over a flashy card when my vision is to just Karn their ass off. I wonder if you can ever cut Petrified Hamlets. Does land count support that? I have 25 lands if we count the Sink into Stupors. It might be okay to shave 1 P-Ham if I want Force of Negation back in. I'm going to try that. Okay, did that go through? Did I click it in time? Yes, okay. They're not going to have Wastelands. Urza Saga would be the one I have to name with Hamlet if there is one. Okay, mana's kind of slow. I do have Force Blue card. I have 2 copies of the Hamlet, which I identified as a card I'm not that interested in, but Planar Nexus is the one that pops off. I am going to keep this, and the card selection of Thundertrap Trainer can get something going. Opponent also kept 7. A Nexus. Another Trainer. Okay, I'm going to play Underground Sea and make them think about Consigned to Memory. It's 3 mana. Trinisphere. Okay. I don't want to force negation, stuff like that. Okay, my own power plant that I could have pushed through if I had played the Nexus first. Right now is where their window's open. It's going to close starting next turn. I can even hardcast Force of Negation next turn. But this is what they're supposed to do. Resolve Trinisphere and then do something difficult to beat. Okay, Kozilek's Command, just making spawns and looking. That could have been a lot worse for me. They kept all 3 on the top. Well, that's as bad as that could be. Or it's like they didn't scry at all, depending on how you want to look at it. Okay, Planar Nexus, pass. The island would have done the same thing here, but playing the Nexus now lets me top deck other Tron lands and maybe do two things in the future. Power plant, they got the turd boiler. I got the bee. So I have that matchup advantage of the superior art. Filtering red. What are we doing? Am I going to get my broadside bombardiered? They're going to blood moon me? That would be sick. I would not fight over a blood moon. Okay, they've untapped all their lands. Maybe they didn't want a red card after all. Oh, it's a black card. Yep, Barrowgoyf, that makes more sense. This one is not force of negatable. It would be nice if they take that as an invitation and just ram a Karn or a One Ring or something really important. But this Trinisphere is about to start causing problems. Oh, hello, One Ring. Say its name and it will appear. One Ring. I will let the trigger resolve before I do anything. They do have enough mana to play a card. Another Hamlet. I have quite enough of these, actually. Guess I'll play another Nexus. Yeah, so Karn here turns off my ring, and then I'm in some trouble. This does stop Barrowgoyf from hitting me for a turn. I am experiencing the board out a card and draw all your other copies of your bad card situation here, but I could have mulliganed this hand if I was worried about that. I knew about two of them already. Oh, they just lost life. Are they going to metamorph my ring? Or are they going to metamorph Barrowgoyf and set up for next turn? All right, metamorphing the ring. I couldn't counter that anyway. Nothing lost there. I wonder if that's like a Miser's Tech metamorph or like something from the Karn board that they boarded in here. Or where did that come from? Is this a dual combo deck? I don't think that deck would play Trinisphere. You've got a Hamlet. Let's see if they inspire any good names here so I know what to do with mine. Otawara. Fair enough. Pyrogoyf. Okay, what are you going to hit with that? You can't target me. They have to do two to something here. Kill one of your spawns or... All right, yeah, two to your Barrowgoyf. Fair enough. Okay, so it's a multiple Goyf theme deck. I'm glad I still have my Ugins in. That's kind of where I want to be going here. I've untapped with a One Ring. Can I do anything with it? Karn, what do you have? There's an ensnaring bridge, but I'm going to have trillions of cards in my hand. That doesn't really help. Okay, I'll tap the One Ring first. That's happening. Stock Up. Stock Up could find more mana, which is one of my problems right now. I am going to stock up. Ours is mine and Ugin. Okay, those are probably the cards I have to take here. That Giant's Boulder was pretty cool. I've got 4 mana. I could just play a Thundertrap Trainer past the turn. I mean, this is a situation where if my opponent plays another Goyf, I'm going to get lit up from the top rope. But I have not found an answer to that anyway. So I guess I'll just play a Thundertrap Trainer and hope I'm not dead. Consign, Kozilek's command. I'll take a command. And discard 3 Petrified Hamlets from my hand. Okay, I'm feeling pretty dead here. If I survive this turn, so my opponent having copied my ring is going to keep the gas flowing. But if I survive this turn, I can answer a bunch of Goyfs, Lurgoyfs in general, Barrows and Pyros. So I see the vision now that Phyrexian Metamorph copying Pyrogoyf is a potentially game-ending combo on its own. Here's Karn. And if they have Lattice, that also just works on me. Okay, that'll do. I am behind and I can't force. Okay, that Trinisphere was pretty high impact. That still doesn't mean I think I should have fought over it, because I still would have not had force in my hand, but I guess converting a One Ring into future forces is worth doing. It does seem like Dismember is worth having in here, and maybe Force of Negation actually isn't that good if a lot of their payoffs are creatures. And I think just going really fast to the roof is what I should be doing right now. Eldrazi Confluence. This is really dangerous because if I kill a Pyrogoyf in response to its trigger, the last known information about that card will include the buffs. Like if they play a 4 or 5 Pyrogoyf and I give it +3/-3 twice in response to its trigger, I'll take 10. But that doesn't really work how you want it. I don't want to flicker Pyrogoyfs either. Yeah, I just don't think that's what the game is about. All right, I'm just making that one change of Dismember in, and I'm going to mulligan aggressively. Yeah, this hand just doesn't do anything. This hand also doesn't do anything. Straight to 5. Okay, I've got a Nexus. This hand does something, so I think I have to stop here. I'm going to get rid of Island and Dismember. Nexus can cast Giant's Boulder, which scries 2, which looks for the gas to keep the pressure up, and at minimum cast Stock Up next turn, One Ring, and Urza's Mine. All right, well, top. That means I don't have to take 2 to cast Stock Up next turn, and I have the One Ring ready to convert after that. And we just got to see what kind of start my opponent has. Planar Nexus, Giant's Boulder, Respect, Game Recognized Game, and went 1 top, 1 bottom on the scry. A Mine, Stock Up. There's that Force of Negation. I don't believe in that card anymore, especially not without a blue card in my hand. I'm going to go One Ring Urza's Tower to the grip and pass. Opponent has the 4 when I had to stop at 3. Trinisphere, okay. I care less about that one with my current setup, but I said that last game, and it wasn't really that good. Okay, Force of Will, now I care about Trinisphere again. That's how that works. You invest in the future. I can play Karn, but he can't get anything super important right now. He can get Lattice next turn, I guess. Or I could get the Ring going. Yeah, without the Trinisphere in play, I could get... Never mind, I don't even have a Liquid Metal Coating. Just noticing right now. Okay, so that plan wasn't there, which is fine, because I wasn't going to use it. And if I go Urza's Tower, One Ring, draw a card, getting Karn to the Lattice is part of the game here. So, or it's most of the game, you could even say. All right, I think I'm going to play Karn right now. Karn, that means that some of their mana filtering is also not available. Hieroglyph would currently deal 1 to Karn. I am going to make a wish. And I think I'm just going to grab Lattice. I'll just put you in check, pass the turn. Planar Nexus, this is 5 mana to play with. You've got a Karn also, which means if I play Lattice, nobody can do anything anymore. And I have more cards in my deck because I mulliganed. Oh no, you literally get to attack my card. Never mind. That's on board. That's there. That's free. I'm in trouble. Trinisphere being tapped, though, means it doesn't work. Though I can't play Force right now anyway. Yeah, that might have just killed me, just having a 3/3 to attack my Karn with. If I had plus last turn, this line's not available. Yeah, maybe I just messed up. Another Giant's Boulder. I could just blow up Karn with Giant's Boulder. No, I can't, because Karn's in play. Oh man, I can't do anything. Shit. Is this how artifact players play versus Karn? Is this why Bryant Cook hates this card so much? Must be. Alright, I guess I'll play a One Ring. That doesn't work, just to avoid some damage. And while this doesn't hurt me, I'll play Giant's Boulder and at least take my scry. Power Plant to the bottom. I'll take Stock Up. That's something that might still be useful. If they have mana, I'm just dead. So if I had plus Karn to 6, all right, I'm ready to concede. If I had plus Karn to 6, it takes 3 down to 3. Then I buy Lattice, and that works out the same, but like aggro Trinisphere. Yeah, that was probably just me being sloppy because I'm not well-versed in the Karn mirror, and I didn't respect the potential onboard 3/3. Okay, yeah, that game was winnable with different play. On to the next round. This year, September 18th through 20th, I'll be attending my 4th consecutive Commander Sealed event in Rochester, New York. This event is really awesome, incredible community, and the main event is one of the most brain-busting, limited sealed deck environments you could imagine, and the gameplay is incredible as well. There's a whole weekend full of events, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, to do stuff, and most importantly, the entire event is there to benefit charity. I am personally chipping in my part to raise money for Trans Lifeline. Whether you're able to attend the main event or not, chipping in a few bucks to my donation link helps me out, helps the event out, keeps this thing crushing its mission year after year. I'll see you there if you can make it, and if you can't, thanks for the support. This donation link is in the video description. I'm on the draw in round 2 with, I have Hamlet, I have some mana acceleration and some card selection. I'm going to keep Lotus Petal. All right, I might not get much time here. Lion's Eye Diamond. There's no force in my hand. Ancient Tomb. Goblin Engineer. Okay, I might be cooked. Getting Painter Servant. Playing Grindstone. Okay, so I have almost no outs here, right? I should just draw a card and concede. Okay. I got force checked, and it worked. All right. The good news is Karn the Great Creator is phenomenal against Painter Servant. I want my Dismember. Oppo Agent is interesting because they're going to be an Urza Saga deck. We saw the Engineer as well. I don't actually like Force of Negation here. I would rather Combat Painter in other ways than Forces, because this is a deck that could play a bunch of Red Blasts in their deck. I don't think I want to meet them in the Barrowgoyf Battle Zone. Yeah, I'll just bring in a little removal and at least give myself a turn to play the game. Hamlet, Nexus, Boulder. That Oppo is right there. All right, I'm going to keep. I'm going to go Nexus, Boulder, and hope there is a land that taps for 2 somewhere near the top of my deck. Okay, there isn't. I'm going to go bottom, bottom. That was just more of the same when what I need is mana. Mountain, Welder, Thundertrap Trainer. Okay, I'm going to Hamlet, naming Urza Saga. And then I'll play Thundertrap Trainer. And I guess I'm looking for Force of Will here. And it's the only option, actually. A tower did just go to the bottom of the deck. Don't love that. Mountain, Mountain, Opal, Painter. Well, forcing that doesn't change the zone it's in functionally, so it can be in play. Everything is blue now, which is interesting for Ugin. Not that I'm anywhere near casting Ugin. I petrified Hamlet again. I don't think this stops Arena of Glory. Yeah, I guess I'll just name Urza's Saga again. And I'll pass the turn. I am in some trouble. And did not materialize. Gotta hope Goblin Engineer is involved here. Fable of the Mirror Breaker. That one doesn't help much, but I will force it. I think I'm gonna force pitching Ugin, which hurts, but gotta get things moving here. And I can just play this opposition agent. I don't need it to be a surprise. I don't want to be leaving all my mana up on turn after turn after turn. Yeah, Lightning Bolt's fine. Another Force of Will. Okay, I guess I'll Thundertrap Train again. Eldrazi Confluence kills all my opponent's cards. I'll take that one. 2 more Tron lands to the bottom of the deck, by the way. Karn the Great Creator. Well, I certainly can't play against that card. I'm actually going to pitch the Ring because I think Confluence is better. All right, deck full of mana. A mana? A trainer. Okay. I'll continue training. Giants, Boulder, Karn. And the Boulder, obviously Karn is great, but Boulder could get me into the mana I need to actually play the game. Kozilek's commanded Stock Up. Somehow still not what I want. Can I bottom a Stock Up here? Ugh. All right, I left Stock Up on top. This has been a tough rollout here, and we're just waiting for the opponent to find a card that matters. Yeah, there's one. Okay. So I can't fix my mana anymore. Not for free. I have the Planar Nexus that can do stuff. And I left that Stock Up on top, which means I have to get through it here. And I actually can't even cast it because my boulders are off. Yeah, I'm dead. All right, yep. Fast comboed and then didn't have any mana. Those are not places that Tron decks want to be. That was a tough one. And another Karn the Great Creator mirror match. On to the next round. The BoshNRoll channel is brought to you by Tales of Adventure. TOAMagic.com has almost 100,000 unique cards in stock. They offer free track shipping on every order, plus next day or 2-day options when you have an event coming up fast. They offer on-site pickup at major Magic events throughout the US, so you're never scrambling before your tournament. Stop by their booth to buy, sell, or trade at upcoming regional championships, Magic Con, Spotlight Series, and more. I love their selection of individually scanned high-end cards that show you exactly what you're buying. And the best part is saving 5% on every order with promo code BOSH. From Ancestral Recall to Zombie Master, get what you need quickly and in one place at TOAMagic.com. Eternal lives here. I'm on the play against a Gigantha strategy in round 3. Opponent says, hi YouTube, everyone say hi to Dragonsword28. Gigantha is probably Sewer Valence Cam combo, just on the most likely culprits there. I'm going to keep my hand. It's a little slow, but it does interact with Goblin Welder. I'm going to name Urza Saga with this. Pass the turn. Once upon a time. This is where they show me some elf, and they're not an Urza Saga deck at all. Or they show me a wasteland. That would be even funnier. Sand Scout. Oh, this is definitely a Wasteland deck. Got my ass. Okay, did not play the Sand Scout, though. All right, this is a fine place to develop a Thunder Trap Trainer. Sink into Stupor and the One Ring. I guess I'll take the One Ring. If they don't Wasteland me, I'm threatening to Ancient Tomb and power this out. And if they do Wasteland me, that's a Wasteland they won't have for Sand Scout eventually. Yeah, this might just be Energy that has Gigantha as their companion. It is almost certainly that. Thalia, Guardian of Thraben. My goodness. Fantastic Hearts banned. You don't have to play that anymore. Hey, there we go. Turn off Wasteland right now before it's too late. That was a nice find. Okay, we just made Sand Scout quite a bit worse. And the cards in my deck quite a bit better. I could Kozilek's Command for 0 right now, but I don't wanna. Okay, you get to tutor a desert out of your deck here. Yeah, Sand Scout's a very cool card. When it enters, an opponent has more lands than you, you can search your library for a desert, put it onto the battlefield tapped, and whenever one or more lands are put into your graveyard from anywhere, make a 1/1 red, green, and white Sand Warrior token. That ability triggers only once each turn. Powerful stuff all around. Okay, there's Nexus, which means very little. Unless I want to take an investment turn. I could go like Planar Nexus Stock Up and have a bunch of mana next turn. And that sees as many cards or more cards than the One Ring while developing my future in a way that's a lot more appealing. And I think I should actually play Nexus first, because if I stock up into Tower, that's more mana next turn. But my hand is lots of mana. I think I want spells. Okay, I'm going to go Power Plant stock up. So put me back to exactly 7 cards in hand. 2 Giants Boulders, a Tower, and some lands. All right, I guess I'll take 1 Tower, 1 Boulder, and split the difference there. And then maybe next turn I'll go Nexus, Ring, and Boulder. A Johnny. Always terrifying. Okay, they sacked the cat to make red mana, which flips the Ajani with Lazotep Quarry. And developed an actual red card, which found Osla Pride to cast it for free. That was a big turn. All right, can the One Ring come back from this? It will not be easy. So I have to One Ring into Ugin, answer many things at once. An opponent did not even give me the basic respect of killing my creature. It just went straight to the face, which is probably right because I am dead on board. Force of Will. That card's not been very good so far in the league. All right. I don't actually get to play Giants Boulder. I miscounted last turn. Again, we chain together One Rings, find Ugin or Karn to turn the corner. That's what I got to get happening here. Sunbaked Canyon. Right, just plus to Johnny. Do you have to deal damage to something? You do. Cool. Oh, Goblin Bombardment. So I could take 6 damage any time. That makes the game a lot harder. I would have forced that if I had a blue card. It's never happened. All right, there's a blue card. Tap the ring. We got to get big stuff. Just 2 lands there. That's no good. Is there anything I can still do? I can play Tower, and if I exile Thalia and Scry, is that even a line? 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. I could exactly hit another One Ring. I guess I'm required to do this. Target player scries exile Thalia, which they will obviously just fling in response. This is my only play. I'm at 9. Ugin and Force. You're too late, Ugin. Force, I never wanted you. And dead. Okay. All right, I had the wrong read about Gigantha, but we've got a Barrowgoyf matchup here. Probably want Dismember, and then Force of Negation. Pretty terrible. Force of Will can be clutch to buy you that 1 turn to do anything. Karn is most of what I'm doing here. Eldrazi Confluence could be a strong removal spell. I think I'm going to shave a Force of Will. And do I want to shave another Force of Will? This is a Wasteland matchup. I'm not going to mess with my Hamlets. Yeah, I think I'm cutting Forces a significant amount and just going in like this. Okay, I do have the setup. I'll keep. I'm even a little resilient to Wasteland because I have 2 of the important card and I can sequence it in a way that's does what I want. Boulder. Oh, there's Hamlet. I'm going to bottom Power Plant and take Hamlet. Once Upon a Time. Once Upon a Time's interesting to be in this deck. I don't think that's normal. They got Arid Mesa with that, and then played Marsh Flats. Does that mean they're prioritizing basics? Got a Plateau with it. Either one of these could have gotten basic planes if Blood Moon is something they're building towards. Okay. I can slam Karn and do what? Threaten Lattice on the following turn? I think I'd rather stock up, though. Stock up. There is a Dismember in here. Okay, Eldrazi Confluence, Kozilek's Command, and One Ring are all cards I could be interested in. The Confluence could Wrath them next turn while I play Hamlet, and I think Command is the other one I want. Like, I'd be using One Ring to try to draw these type of cards, and I've just found them anyway. And I'm going to hope I don't get Wastelanded right now. Okay, Arid Mace is good news. They could Amped Raptor into Blood Moon here, which would be pretty annoying, as the Guide of Souls gives an extra mana. There it is. Moment of truth. Stack their thing correctly. Okay, they just got another Guide of Souls. I can live with that. That means they can attack and juice the first one if they want to juice it here. They are doing it. So I can flip inside out 2 of these and then flicker another one. That assumes I want to play around Wasteland. What can I do with 7 mana instead of 5? Would they have wasted me by now if they had it? I think I'm just going to be careful. You could call me a wuss for that, and I accept. But I have this super controlling hand as long as I don't get run over. And Wasteland is part of running me over. Sand Scout. I hate this guy. All right, how much energy do I want them to get? I don't think the life gain and the energy is that important. As if they move into combat and target one of the things with the Guide of Souls ability, then I can kill that thing and they've spent the energy anyway. Caracas doesn't do anything here. Okay, the third Guide of Souls doesn't entirely change my math here. And it would make sense to target something else than the first Guide of Souls, because that plays around Kozilek's Command. Like, if they make one giant attacker here, Kozilek's Command gets them. And I definitely have that card in my deck where I may or may not have Eldrazi Confluence. Okay, so there's currently a trigger on the stack. If I Confluence now, I can kill this one, this one, this one, or this one, this one, this one, and I take 3. And now they have a bunch of other creatures. Okay, I am going to do that. Eldrazi Confluence, +3, -3, 3 times. Target. Is Amped Raptor even my problem? Or am I more worried about Sand Scout? I don't think I'm worried about Sand Scout. I'm going to go Raptor, Guide, other Guide, and just take 3 from the first Guide. Oh, we love a 3 for 1. See if it's good enough. Okay, I have gajillions of mana. And by gajillions, I mean 8. I could Thunder Trap Trainer, leaving up a Kozilek's Command. I could Karn and Trainer with 2 mana still up. I don't really want to get Engineered Explosives here. I could get Karn for 1 ring, but then Karn just dies. Ensnaring Bridge isn't set up yet. I think I'm just going to go for Thunder Trap Trainer right now without kicking it. Ugin, Eye of Storms. All right. 4, 5, 6. Ugin's quite good next turn. I'll put that in the bank. And then I can Kozilek's Command Guide of Souls now. And then also cast Karn if I make homies. Is that how this works? Oh, Kozilek's Command. So I would have to tap 3 to exile this and get 1. I'd have 1, 2, 3, 4. This exactly works. Okay. Exile target creature and make a spawn. Karn. What do I want here? I could just put a 1 ring in my hand, or I could grab Lattice, put the check on. I think I want 1 ring. In case Karn dies here, 1 ring is the reload, and if Karn doesn't die here, Ugin will take over the game. Arid Mesa. Cracking that makes a Sand Warrior. Something like Blood Moon does not stop me from playing the Ring, and then Ring can parlay into Ugin, which would answer the Blood Moon later. I'll block. I like Karn. Voice of Victory. Okay. I wasn't casting any spells on your turn. Here comes the Sand Scout, or the Sand Warrior from the Sand Scout. Shout out Hazion Tamar, Legends card, hero of the Legends storyline in the Magic novels. A Johnny. An opponent can get some Caracas spam action off of that one. Okay, I can do a lot of stuff here. I can go Ugin into One Ring, and Karn could grab an Engineered Explosives or a Tormod's Crypt just to get another exile. I can't deal with Caracas here, which means I can't deal with a Johnny. I'm going to start by casting Ugin and exiling Voice of Victory. That hits the hardest. And then I'll add 3 mana, cast the One Ring, exiling Sand Scout. That protects me for the turn cycle. Draw a card. Barrowgoyf. Hell yeah, brother. I can tap Ancient Tomb without taking damage this turn, which is awesome, because that means I can clear these tokens. All right, I'll get Engineered Explosives, cast it exiling a Johnny, which they will bounce with Caracas, but I will be completely stable. All right, that's back in your hand. Ancient Tomb, pass. The opponent is attacking my Planeswalkers. I will remove the tokens. A Johnny and 2 unknowns in the hand, with Jeggy still on layaway. Amped Raptor, okay. 1 energy in the bank, so we can cast up to 3 drops here. It looks like Ocelot Pride. All right. That's not one I'm super worried about at this moment. Johnny's back. All right, this is a good note that naming Caracas with the second Petrified Hamlet might be meaningful in this matchup. I do also have this Giant's Boulder that can bonk the Caracas. Another ring. Sick. All right, draw some cards. Ooh, another ham. All right, I'm going to play this Hamlet and see if they respond or if I get the snipe here. Okay, I will name Caracas with this. Let it happen. And that means I can handle a Johnny with another 1 ring. Fresh ring, exile a Johnny. I still have an Ugin activation this turn. And a Karn activation. I could stand up Giant's Boulder to block. There was a sad face in the chat. I think they did not see the Caracas on Hamlet thing. I'm responding to my own ring here because if I draw Kozilek's command, I want to be able to target myself. Okay, that window has come and gone. Fresh Karn. Fresh Karn is some more exiles, at least. I've got 7 mana, or 10 with Ugin's help. All right, I'll start by casting Karn. Does animating anything matter here? Like, I have another Karn activation from the first Karn. I just don't think Giant's Boulder is more useful as a creature. Exile Ocelot Pride. Just trying to take the engines down here. Okay, they've had enough. Cool. We did it. Won a game. On the draw, am I more interested in Force of Will? We saw Voice of Victory, which is a great card to be able to ignore. But there are things that can happen in the first couple turns of the game while I'm getting set up that would mess me up, and this could buy the time. But it would involve pitching one of my other blue cards, which almost all of which I like. Yeah, I think I'm a no. I think I'm just going in. Okay, I'm not insulated from Wasteland, but I do have the juice. Once Upon a Time. 3 for 3 on having that one. I haven't seen a green source. I guess I have seen a green source. I've seen the Lazatep Quarry, which could turn green. Yeah, this is the spot where I don't really like forcing the matchup. I mean, I guess I'm glad I have it, but also you kind of just almost have to force anything. I'm going to play Power Plant because does represent the possibility of ramp, but it's not my best ramp. There's Wasteland. Playing Stony Silence. Okay. This gives me a turn to develop, but develop what is a reasonable question. Yeah, I developed Petrified Hamlet off the top rope. All right, now I'm ready. Okay. I have hammed it up. And next turn I can start stocking or trapping or commanding. And I just have to remember that my artifacts don't work. Raptor time. No extra energy this time. Exiled Thalia. All right, that does make some of what I wanted to do next turn less Good. So Planar Nexus makes 4 colorless mana or 1 in a blue, or 1 and 2 blue, which is not enough to cast Stock Up yet. Okay, I guess I'll play Tower and just get ready for next turn, which is when I'm actually going to do stuff. End step fetch for a Surveil land, and they liked the card. I really hope it's not Blood Moon. That is the primary thing I am concerned about in my life here. All right, Voice of Victory is whatever. That Kozilek's Command loses a little action there, but that just means I have to play it on my turn. The One Ring to rule them all, which does not have activated abilities, but can still fog for a turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think I want to exile Thalia and make spawns and then cast Stock Up this turn. I could also just kick Thundertrap Trainer. What does that look like? That looks like tapping all the way out to make that happen, to have a big next turn. And I have 2 blockers. It's not enough to beat a Voice of Victory. I think that's good enough, though. All right, Thundertrap Trainer, Con Queso. We're looking for Ugins. We're looking for big turnaround cards. There's Ugin. There's also Karn, but I'll take Ugin. That's the guy. Ugin in hand and Karn to go with it. That is a colorless spell. That's multiple colorless spells locked and loaded. All right, now I have a way to actually get ahead if I'm not dead. Where before I was just trying to figure out how to not die until I had a plan. Now I have a plan. I get to tutor a desert. There's the quarry. Guide of Souls. I had to do it in that. No, you didn't. Could have had an energy there. Attacking with everything. This lets me kill Thalia in combat, which is great for my next turn. Okay. You get 2 energy. Okay, so that missequence actually costs meaningful interaction here. Okay. Double block Thalia. I lose 1 of my creatures. I take 5, and then my spells are free to fly next turn. Okay, here we go. This has to be it. Can we make it happen? Yeah, we got the bad sequencing sad face in the chat. Yeah, that was a big one to be able to save Thalia there. Okay. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I can play Ugin, who can then play Kozilek's Command. And then I might even be able to do more after that, depending on what Kozilek's Command does. Okay. Ugin, Eye of Storms. I think I want to take out Voice of Victory first. That's generating a lot of stuff. And then I'm going to make 3 mana with Ugin, which could then exile Guide of Souls and something else. It could be Stony Silence. I don't think I'm worried about Stony Silence this turn. I think that's a next turn problem. Price of Progress is, I guess, a card they could theoretically have. I don't have a lot of counterplay for that. I could play Ancient Tomb, tap it, and then draw the most cards. I could make Bros or C cards here. I could play Karn instead of Kozilek's Command, but that doesn't deal with 2 things, which is what I want to be doing. Yeah, I think I'm just going to command for 1, exiling Sand Scout and Guide of Souls. And I will scry X, or no, I'll make a spawn, because the spawn can cast Dismember. Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay. Exile target creature, and target player makes X spawns. This and this. Take out the Guide of Souls with the actual spell, and the Sand Scout with the Ugin. Now I have 2 blockers, and the ability to Dismember. And I think if I don't get Price of Progress or something right now, I will not have trouble winning this game. Okay, Static Prison. This is a temporary answer to Ugin. There's 4 energy in their pool, so, I mean, it'll answer it for quite a while, actually. But I don't really need that Ugin. It had its big turn. All right, back up Stony Silence. Cool. Yeah, now opponents kind of glutted on sideboard cards where what they need to be doing is dealing damage to me. And I'm just not really in a spot where that's happening. Another Ancient Tomb. I think I should develop the One Ring first, because then I have the rest of the turn to tap all these Ancient Tombs pain-free. Okay. I am protected from everything, which means I can go Ancient Tomb, filter a blue, stock up, Barrowgoyf, what's up, big guy? Kozilek's Command, Eldrazi Command, Kozilek's Command, Eldrazi Confluence, and Barrowgoyf, all good cards. I think I want Barrowgoyf and Kozilek's Command. Barrowgoyf and Koz Command, and I could command for 2 right now, which would... Oh, no, I have protection, so that's not actually good. All right, I will just pass the turn and enjoy protection from everything. I guess I could have played Karn and had a 4/4 up to block with there. Is that better than having command up for 1? Maybe. Karn does not have protection from everything, and there is a Lazadep Quarry here that they can eternalize a creature from the graveyard with, which having the Kozilek's Command up does mitigate against a little bit, though I'm not super worried about Oslo Pride or Thalia out of their graveyard. This does appear to be happening. Okay, so they would have a 4/4 Oslo Pride, which I could exile from play, the same as I could exile from the graveyard. Yeah, that just doesn't matter. Deal. No blocks. Okay, I'm still at 10. And we'll go to my turn. I take 0 from the ring. I do possess the powerful black mana to play Barrowgoyf with. And I think I'm just going to play Sink into Stupor as a tapped land here. That could bounce the Static Prison someday, but I think I'm not worried about that right now. I've got a Mighty Barrowgoyf. Opponent's down to 2 energy after this trigger. Guide of Souls. That does create energy for a long time if they keep having creatures to play. Boy, caramba. Okay. When and how do I interact with this? I should play any removal I'm going to play now. That part is clear to me. Oslo Pride does have to be removed. Okay, Oslo Pride. Exile that. And it does have its mana value from Eternalize. And then I'd like to scry. And I can still dismember, though dismembering creates the gigantic issue of... I'm putting Ancient Doom on the bottom. My life total being minuscule. I could dismember for less life next turn, but I do take 1 off the bombardment. But I think Barrowgoyf will overwork that as long as I don't get clowned in the very near future. Hamlet, okay. I could name Caracas with this one. Okay, Hamlet names Caracas. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, cast Karn, turn the One Ring into an indestructible 4/4 attacker, and we damage race. They could block ping to fizzle the Barrowgoyf lifelink, but as long as their creatures are dying, I'm okay. Okay, Barrowgoyf just got in there, full hog. I will mill 5, pick up another Barrowgoyf. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right, now I'm not worried about this dismember. The Goyfs are 6/7s. We got the GGs. Okay. Yeah, so got run over game 1. Game 2, I just went big, and Petrified Hamlet, huge part of the equation here. Game 3, there was that one turn where opponent missed 1 energy before combat, which ended up in Thalia dying, which ended up in Ugin having a big turn. I think I still have Ugin that turn, but I probably have to tap Ancient Tomb to get it, and I might not have 2 spells after that. And that's 1 more attacker still in play, because I have to spend time dealing with the Thalia after that. So there, yeah, that was, I mean, it definitely mattered. Just keep that sequencing tight out there. On to the next round.
This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online. Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and everything else you'll see on this channel. There's multiple customizations so you can interact with your deck how you want. Views such as text, grid, or stacks. And groupings like type, subtype, color, color identity, even artist. The site offers light mode, dark mode, and so much more. However you want to see your deck, Moxfield can provide it for you. Follow my Moxfield to keep up with the channel and what I'm playing in paper. I'll see you there.
On the draw for round 4, I'm pretty sure I'm going to mulligan this hand. But there are matchups I could see this. Like, if I know this is a fair Wasteland strat, like, my mana's perfect and I'm not going to get Wastelanded. But obviously that's not what we registered the deck to do. And here, at least this one has, like, Force Blue card and upside of Urza's Tower. I'm going to keep this and bottom a Confluence. 4 Petrified Hamlet is so inspired. That's just such a great innovation to this deck since the last time it was a thing. Okay, here we go. The mirror match confirmed. All right, you named Wasteland. Hopefully I find a way to ramp and I can punish this. Versus tower. I know I'm not getting Wastelanded. Okay, mirror match for sure. Oh, not mirror match. Slightly different. I want to save my force. Sometimes it's right to fight over the Grim Monolith, sometimes it's not, and it depends on a lot of stuff. I can wait a turn. No, this is fine. I'm going to play Hamlet and name Urza Saga. I don't know if it's a thing they have, but I will be ready for it. I can start confluencing next turn. If I draw a ring or a Karn, I can play that. Like, we're getting there. Opponent has had a much better setup than me. The One Ring. I'm not beating that card from this position, so I'm just going to counter it. Surprise Force of Will. May or may not have been a surprise, but it did happen. Planar Nexus. We're off, baby. Okay. Confluence is online, though may or may not do anything. Opponent is also fully online. Karn. Okay. This is the type, like we saw this in round 1. If this Karn minuses for something that doesn't stabilize the board, I can tempo it with my 2-mana 3/3, my Watch Wolf. Also, funny enough, the Eldrazi Confluence can flicker Grim Monolith and it comes back tapped. Okay, so they went straight for Lattice. I'm going to Confluence, make 3 Bros, which can kill the Karn, though I am temporarily under Lattice. If I draw my own Karn, I win the game. Oh, wow, you're a Force of Will build. All right, well, I'm just fucking dead. Okay, well, there's that. All right, so they're a list with Grim Monolith. I don't have that card, but they do have the forces. This is a blue build. That was a twist. I did not expect force after seeing the Monolith. And yeah, that was just a case of I kept a hand that was generically good in matchups, and they kept a hand that was very good in matchups while knowing what they need to develop. Okay, I think P-Ham can come out, and can I cut 2 Hamlets? No, it doesn't really do anything except tap for 1. I am down to 23 lands. I think that's okay. I think I want all the counter spells. I don't think I want to go Goyfs here. This is about going big and being the person with Karn on the turn where it matters. I'll mulligan this. You're out of here. This has 2 Nexus and no interaction and no ramp. We're going to 5. Okay, this one is ready to party. I'll put Ancient Tomb away and Urza's Mine away. And I'll go Tower Pass. I can't hold up Consign here. None of these lands make blue on turn 1. Planar Nexus. All right, we've both got it. Let's see who can pay it out first. Nexus Pass. Everybody's here. Everyone's ready to party. One ring. Okay. I will counter this 3 times. Then being a Force of Will deck, I don't want to mess around with this. Just deal with it. Okay, now I draw Karn and I take over. Or draw my own One Ring. Giant's Boulder. Okay, I will cast that. I don't think this is going to get forced, though I am almost at 7 mana already. Sink into Stupor, stock up. Sink to the bottom, stock up to the top. Play another tower, pass. I could Kozilek's Command, draw a card, cast stock up now, but that doesn't seem like a good use of my high impact cards. 6 mana from the enemy. I can blow up their Planar Nexus next turn, except that I can't because there's a Karn. Yeah, it does seem like just having Karn is very important versus not having Karn, which in the 3 Karn mirrors I've played, I have not ever had the Karn while my opponent didn't. Okay, just Lattice in the bank. I think I just send a full hog command to see as many cards as I can right now. Scry X, Fake Spawns. Is this going to get forced? I have stock up if it does. Wow, that is not very good. Yeah, everything sucks when Karn's in play. What do I even do against inactive Karn? Where's my deck? Get back on the screen. Okay, I could find a Consign to Memory that counters Lattice on the way down. I could have my own Karn, so they can't afford to play Lattice. Though, yeah, because of my mulligans, I am ahead on that. All right, I guess, well, I can't play Consign. I would have to find Blue Source and Consign off the stock up. I guess I'll keep the stock up, but none of those other cards matter. There's one of those other cards anyway. Stock up. If they have a force, I can't win this game, like on any part of this chain. And there was a pause on my Kozilek's command, and there's a pause on my stock up. I think they have it. They're just deciding when to deploy it. Yeah, okay. Force of negation makes sense. And I guess I still have a draw here, so I should use it. I could hit my own Karn still. Oh, no, I can't, because the card's in play. Never mind, never mind. Wow, card is oppressive when your deck's built around artifacts. GG's. On to the next one. The BoshNRoll channel is sponsored by Ultimate Guard. I travel all over the world playing Magic with very expensive cards. I trust Ultimate Guard products to protect the tools of my trade wherever I go. Whether you like magic art, licensed art from other worlds, entirely original art, or the simplicity of plain colors, their products have incredible range to match anyone's style. Protect your cards how I do, stay up to date with all the new releases at ultimateguard.com, and stop by the Ultimate Guard section of your local game store. I'm on the draw for the final round with a hand that is largely non-functional. I will mulligan. And here's the banger. Okay. I'm going to keep this, and I think I'm getting rid of Thundertrap Trainer. I guess I'd get rid of Force of Will, because Thundertrap Trainer, if I pitch whichever card I keep to the Force, then it doesn't matter which one I kept. But in a world where I don't end up forcing, I guess I'd rather have Trainer. Opponent's on 6. It would be great if they're not a Wasteland deck. That also matters here. Bloodstained Mire. Let's see if this gets Underground Sea, or if there's a Unmask in my near future. Oh, P-Ham. Okay, well, I have a decision to make. Slow it down and don't get Wastelanded, or send it and maybe die to Reanimator because I gave them a turn to function. I guess I'll play the Hamlet. This is what we're here for. They did not respond to the Bloodstained Mire. I'm not falling for that. I'm naming Wasteland. Like, if I'm Dimir Tempo and I have Underground Sea Wasteland in my hand, not fetching in response to that Petrified Hamlet is actually super tight. And then your opponent's like, ho ho, you idiot. And then they name Bloodstained Mire, but then you just Wasteland them and you win. And then who is the idiot now? And that's a moment of presuming competence from your opponent, which is something I've preached for years. If your opponent does something strange that you don't expect, and your options are think they're a moron or think they know something you don't, try to think about what they could know that you don't. Well, they know they're a Storm deck, for one, where maybe they couldn't afford to fetch. Or maybe they wanted to, maybe they're a Saga Storm deck. Hexing Squelcher. All right, well, they've got good information here. And this is a matchup where having Karn in play is literally everything. Well, it's not even everything. Like, they had to have Squelcher into send here. And Petrified Hamlet making Volcanic Island tap for colorless doesn't change their capabilities this turn. All right, here we go. Another force. Another look at Karn. I don't know if we're going to get 2 more turns this game, though. Yeah, this is definitely my turn to just be the Karn bully. But because my opponent sequenced correctly, I did not just try to send it, which is something I called out as maybe I should just try to send it after having drawn the Hamlet. Like, I might lose this game because I drew Petrified Hamlet last turn. Rome Mox. An opponent also would, I mean, their hand was so good they would send it in any matchup, but recognizing that decks that would Petrified Hamlet naming Wasteland game 1 are probably Karn decks, and you better get moving or else you're going to be in trouble. Chrome Mox exiled Dark Ritual, and we're going again. Another spin on the wheel. Oh, it's worse than that. We're just dead. Okay. Or, no, you have to discard the card that you get here. What card are you discarding for triple black? Did they just fuck up? Like, you don't get to keep Beseech the Mirror here. You have to discard it. What's going on? What's happening? Yeah, they just discarded Beseech the Mirror. That's not how Gamble works. I might have gotten away with one here because my opponent is learning their deck. Oh, baby, that was weird. Okay. I will continue to play the game. One that may or may not be entirely deserving for me to play on, but I am not the Lord at the gates weighing your soul against a feather or whatever the fuck happens up there. Right, Eldrazi Confluence is an answer to Squelcher. I will leave that on top and pass the turn. I think if I resolve Karn, Squelcher doesn't matter anymore, but having an answer to just shut the door is going to be nice. Yeah, opponent confirmed in chat. It's the second time playing the deck. Facepalm emoji. Yeah, you'll figure it out. It's some cards like Gamble, where it's like, oh, this is Demonic Tutor, only when you're getting Echo of Eons. Other times it's questionable Demonic Tutor, and then other times it's Entomb. And while Entombing Echo of Eons is great, Entombing Beseech the Mirror is not. And I have, by the grace of the magic gods, found my way to this Karn, which will probably solo the game from here. All right, cool. Well, we're playing against Storm, where being a Karn deck is pretty great. I think these hamlets are going to come out. I'm not going to name any of their lands, unless they turn out to be Saga Storm, but still, I think locking them out is my plan. Opposition Agent is a beating against decks like this. Do I even want Ugin? It costs 7. Their permanents are Hexing Squelcher and Song of Creation. Eldrazi Confluence is my other option. That kills Squelcher much sooner, which kicks my forces back on. Ugin is one of my late game engines, but Karn is what this match is really about. I think Eldrazi Confluence is probably better than Ugin here. That's just my sense of things. I wonder if you can cut all of the petrified hamlets in matchups where they're not important. Your lands become so few, but your spells become so many. That actually sounds pretty tempting. No blue card to go with this force, but I'm keeping. This is a turn 2 Karn. I'm in the business here. Badland, Opal, Chrome Mox, exiling Beseech the Mirror, Dark Ritual. Okay, are we off? Lion's Eye Diamond. I appear to be getting force checked, and while I do have the force, I don't have the essential other component. Okay, Echo of Eons. I'm glad for that. That could have been a near deterministic Beseech the Mirror for Yawgmoth's will line, Gaia's will, whoever's will. Okay, we've been spun into a hand that doesn't do anything. Brainstorm. Yeah, I can't get more blue cards into the deck unless I board in Invasion Submersible, which I don't think is how I'm going to succeed in life. Okay, Gamble. This is a proper 6-card gamble. Gambled away a Barrowgoyf. There's a good chance that is what they tutored for, actually. It would make sense on this board, and with what I would have likely boarded out. I've never in my life seen Barrowgoyf out of Storm. That's really interesting. Thoughtseize, okay. Storm is 9. If Tendrils is in hand, just get it. Chrome Mox. Yeah, Beseech the Mirror does the same thing. A Beseech or a Tendrils closes it out here. Chrome Mox. Okay, I'm beginning to think Barrowgoyf is not what they gambled for. Lotus Petal. Just doing tricks on it at this point. If you got it, it was over 4 spells ago. All right, Beseech. Just show me that there is a Tendrils in your deck. All right, cool. I did not get a turn that game. I failed the force check with 7 forces in my deck. Maybe that was a mulligan issue. I'm willing to believe it. Do I make any adjustments? Okay, the adjustment I make is that if they have Barrowgoyfs, I actually think Ugin is better than Eldrazi Confluence. Because this gives me some giant endgame thing to get into where I guess Eldrazi Confluence answers Barrowgoyf sooner. All right, yeah, this hasn't actually changed my mind. I had to think about it for a second, but my mind has not changed. Okay. Same deck, let's go. No force. No good plan. I'm going to mulligan. All right, another look at Karn in a spot that it's not castable. I'll mulligan. Okay, force blue card, big mana. I'm in. In this hand stinks to just like Thoughtseize, but I am all dressed up and ready to go. Hamlet and Island out of here. And I'm going to play Planar Nexus because that one combos with more lands in the deck if my opponent does get an Echo of Eons through here. And with any land, it can cast Consign to Memory. Like if I get wheeled, if they have like Thoughtseize into Echo here, and my hand changes, Planar Nexus works with more things I could draw. Opal, LED, LED, devastating. Okay. All right, I've been Thoughtseized. Let's hope the follow-up is just an Echo of Eons that refills my hand and not a deterministic kill. Okay, they've passed the turn. Let's just draw Karn and win the game on the spot. Karn, 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 Karn. The One Ring. That's kind of like Karn. I know a lot of Storm decks have specific tutor lines, like Approach of the Second Sun kind of stuff. I shouldn't have actually activated that, because if they echo, this card's going to disappear anyway. Yeah, I should have just left that untapped. But a lot of Storm decks have to build specific alternate win cons in to get through One Ring protection. And we'll see if this build that has Barrowgoyfs in it somehow, like, does that have room for these alternate win cons? And also, does this new player of the deck know how to navigate them? That's also part of the equation here. Okay, I didn't get echoed. I didn't get echoed last turn either, which is probably a sign they just didn't have echo, but it was still wrong to tap the ring. Now I can chain many rings together over a long period of time, should I so desire. All right, let's figure out ring math here. If I play this One Ring, I get another card right now, and then I get 2 cards next turn, which is the same as the 3 cards this ring would draw next turn. And then the turn after that, I draw 3 cards from this ring. Or no, yeah, I draw 3 cards from this ring where this one would draw 4. So it's 2 turns out before it makes more sense to keep the old ring than rip the new one. All right. I'm going to keep the new one and not tap it because I am learning. Power plant's in play. Pass the turn. I'm trying to find my way to a Karn here. Raucous Theater in the end step. Raucous Theater kept a card on top. Okay, no gamble, no future. Here it goes. And I've left my ring up this time. Discarded Chrome Mox. That was probably not the gamble. And then if opponent does send it on Echo going Hellbent, I am not going to try to draw 1 card to spike a force. In that environment, I'm going to let the Echo resolve and just try to have more than my opponent. Okay, Runehorn Hellkite. They played around it anyway. This one is a Wheel of Fortune, not a Time Twister. So that means I'm actually out of One Rings in my deck, and I can't chain them together anymore unless I find a Karn, in which case I should have won the game anyway. But Hellkite does cost a lot more. It costs 6 instead of 3, which leaves them with fewer resources to continue gaming with. All right, we have Wheel of Fortune. I found Karn. No force. But I got the really important card here. I'm still not going to randomly try to spike a 6-outer by tapping the ring if they have another Echo. Okay, they just passed the turn with mana burned off, so I guess they just don't have it, and I feel pretty good here. Ancient Tomb. Draw for turn. All right, I have the force. I was just going to say I'll probably Giant Boulder first to make sure that Karn is safe, but now I don't need to. 1, 2, 3, 4, Karn. It's my turn to be the jerk. Okay, we got the G's, and Karn closed it down. Okay, not a strong record, but kind of a strange tournament path. 2 Nexus Tron pseudo mirrors. One of them had Force of Will, the other appeared to be colorless with Trinispheres. Also, Painter with Karn in it. I think Karn the Great Creator Resolving determined every single game of this match. Or no, the energy match was much more Ugin's business, but Karn was involved in those chains and the machine gun of exiles on Ugin turns. That is kind of a weak spot of this deck, but I don't know that that's necessarily an issue. It's just figuring out how to navigate Karn mirrors. Like, if that's not even a big part of the metagame. It was just a very strange league that I queued into here today. We have 7 forces plus 2 consigns in the board to fight over Karns. You can't Giants Boulder a Karn, which does cut off a big part of this deck's end game and late game. Ugin doesn't exile Karn. You can't One Ring to keep drawing through it, and Giants Boulder can't snipe it. That is just a huge hole here. Sink into Stupor can bounce it. I guess that's what you're looking for, but you're looking for it using Stock Ups and Trainers because you can't ring. Kozilek's Command can dig for it. Yeah, I guess like even buying 1 turn with Karn out of play could let you tap your ring, and maybe even twice if you like invest a ring and then on the next turn, sink into super, bounce the card in there, and tap, tap, tap. Then you're ready to counter on the way back down. I'm not going to try to rebuild this deck off of 5 games, and 3 of them were Karn mirrors. And I think there are a respectful amount of answers to Karn in the list. This is on the disrespectful side of blue cards for force. You usually want 20, and this list has 18. And it doesn't get much better after board because you can bring in 2 more and get up to the requisite 20, but pitching Consign to force, if you brought it in, it probably means that was a matchup where Consign would have been good. It seems to me like the Eldrazi Confluences are the only flex slots. I guess how many lands you're playing, like, do you need all 4 Petrified Hamlet? Can you have 3? And then 1 or 2 of these Eldrazi Confluences, and you can get yourself up to 20 or 21 blue cards to support force appropriately. But you can also get to hard cast force a lot faster in this deck, especially with the Giants Boulders now helping the Planar Nexus smooth that out. It's an interesting balance to walk, and this deck wants to be colorless. All these lands want you to have things like Karn and Ugin to cast, but you do have this huge advantage of being able to actually fight back, and it doesn't have to be a haymaker fight the way that traditional colorless Tron plays. And in Legacy, your haymaker might not win. As we learned, like, if your opponent has the first haymaker, even if it's the same, or if your opponent does something bigger, like storm you out or assemble Painter combo on turn 2, you could also move some of the tools around. Like, your 7 forces, one of these forces could be in the sideboard with Dismember in the main, if you're more worried about creatures than you are about spells to counter. There's rooms to move this around based on your expected metagame. I'm kind of glad I got so beat up this league, because I was really excited about this deck in theory, and I'm recording this a few days before I leave for the Buffalo Chicken Dip Legacy tournament, where a Mox Ruby is up for first prize, and I am still in the deck selection process for that. And if I had just easily 5-0'd this league, I might have been convinced to do that on short notice, pivot onto a deck like this that I don't have a ton of reps with, instead of playing, Beanstalk or Felia or some Bilbo tempo package. I think I'll be better off playing those decks, even though I don't want to stake this deck's entire standing in my mind off of one league with a very strange tournament path. I see the vision. I also see the weaknesses, and they are both Karn the Great Creator. The strength and weakness of this deck is Karn the Great Creator. I'm going to leave this one here. Delthar, thanks for continuing your work on this cool deck out there in the format. Folks, Delthar has a bunch of trophies posted if you look up the trophy dumps and want to see different iterations of this deck, small changes. I know when I played against him, he had Tishana's Tidebinder in the deck, which this most recent trophy that I pulled from doesn't have. And Tidebinder is a way to combat Karn. Oh, man. Big news. That's an important... It's also a blue card. If these confluences were Tidebinders, we'd have 20 blue cards and more outs to Karn. All right, I'm not going to go down that path, but I'm just calling it out. I've seen it, and that might be the truth. I'm leaving this one here. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Check out the Patreon to support the channel, and I will see you next time.